Good morning. Welcome in RNQ NIOS Institute. Chapter number 9, Religion and Philosophy in Medieval India. Nearly every month, a program is going on in any auditorium in the city where songs of the Sufi sons and Bhakti sons are sung. The popularity of this program can be seen from attendance that is there. They are patronized by the government, by business houses, and even by individuals. The songs and teaching of the Sufi and Bhakti sons are relative even today. Do you know the medieval period in India saw the rise and growth of the Sufi movement and Bhakti movement? The two movements brought a new form of religion expression amongst Muslim and Hindu. The Sufi were mystic who called for liber- uh, liber- liberalism in Islam. They embraced on an egalitarian society based on universal love. The Bhakti sons transformed Hinduism by introducing devotion or bhakti as the means to attain God. For then caste had no meaning and all human beings were equal. The Sufi and Bhakti sons played an important role in bringing the Muslim and Hindu together. By using the local language of the people, they made a religion assemble and meaning to the common people. Now let us discuss objective. After reading this lesson, you will able to understand the reasons for the rise of Sufism and Bhakti movement in the medieval India, trace the growth of the Sufi movement, identity the uh, major Silshah of the Sufis, explain the main tenets of Sufism, explain the philosophy of Bhakti sons, Sant Kabir and Guru Nanak, rise of Sikhism, explain the ideology of the Vaishnavitic sons, recognize the contribution of Sufi and Bhakti sons towards the growth of composited Indian culture. Uh, the Sufi movement, backward rise of Islam. You will recall that Islam was founded by Prophet Muhammad. Islam saw the rise of many religion and spiritual movements within it. These movements were centered mainly around the interpretation of the Quran. There are two major sects that across within Islam: the Sunnis and Shias. Our country has both sects, but in many other countries like Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, etc., you will find followers of only one of them. Among the Sunnis, there are four principal schools of Islamic law. These are based upon the Quran and Hadith tradition of the Prophet saying and doing. Of this Hanifi school of 8th century was adopted by Aston Trunks, who later come in India. The greatest challenge to orthodox Sunnism came from the rationalistic philosophy or Mutazila who professed strict monotheism. According to them, God is just and has nothing to do with man's even actions. Men are involved with free and are responsible. Abdul Hashal Ashari 873 to 935 AD. The Ashari school evolved its own rationalism argument in defense of the orthodox doctrine Kalam. This school believed that God knows, sees, and speaks. The Quran is eternal and uncreated. The greatest exponent of this school was uh, Abu Hamid al Ghazali, 158 to 1111 AD, who is credited with having reconciled orthodoxy with Mystim. He was a great theologian who in 1095 began to lead a life of a Sufi. He is a deeply respected by both Orthodox element and Sufism. A.L. Ghazali attacked all non-Orthodox Sunni school. He said the positive knowledge can't be gained by reason but by the revolution. Sufis on their uh, allegiance to the Quran as much as ulmas did. The influence of the idea of Ghazali was greater because of the new education system set up by the state. It provided for setting up for seminars of a higher learning called um, madrasas, madrasas, where scholars were familiarized with as Ashari ideas. They were taught how to run the government in accordance with orthodox Sunni ideas. These scholars were known as ulema. Ulema played an important role in politics of medieval India. The Sufi, contrary to the ulema, were the Sufis. The Sufis were mystic. They were pious when who was shocked the degeneration in political and religious life. The opposed the regular display of wealth in public life and the readiness of the ulama to serve ungodly rulers. Many begin to the lead a retired ascetic life, having nothing to do with state. The Sufi philosophy also differed from the ulama. The Sufis laid emphasis upon free thought and liberal idea. They were against formal worship, rigidity, and fanaticism in religion and liberal idea. They were against formal worship, and Sufi turned to meditation in order to achieve religion satisfaction like the Bhakti sons. The Sufi to interpreted a religion's love of God and service of humanity. It in course of time the Sufis were divided into different uh, silsilah orders, with each silsilah having its time. The Sufis were divided on Peer guide called Khwaja or Sikh. The Peer and discipline in lived in um, Khana, hospice. Peer nominated a successor or wali from discipline to carry on his work. The Sufi organized samas are recital or holy songs to arouse mystic uh, ecstasy. Basra in Iraq uh, become the center of Sufi activities. It must be noted that the Sufi sons were not uh, setting up a new religion but were preparing a more liberal movement within the framework of Islam. They owned their alliance to the Quran as much the ulama did. Sufism in India. The advent of Sufism in India is said to be in the 11th and 12th century. One of the early Sufis of imams who settled in India was uh, Hazvari, who died in 1089, popularly known as uh, Dattaganj Baksh, distributor of unlimited treasure. In the beginning, the main center of the Sufis were Multan and Punjab. By the 13th and 14th century, the Sufis had spread to Kashmir, Bihar, Bengal, and the Deccan. It may be mentioned uh, that Sufism had already taken on a definite form before coming to India. Its fundamental and moral principle, teaching and order system of fasting, prayers, and practice of living in khangas had already been fixed. The Sufi came to India via Afghanistan on their own free will. Their emphasis upon pure life, devotional love, and services to humanity made them popular and earned them place of honor in Indian society. Abu Fazl, while writing in the Al-Akbari, speak of 14th silsilah of the Sufism. However, in the lesson, we shall outline only some of the important ones. These silsilah were divided into two types, Bashara and Bishara. Bashara were those orders that followed the Islamic law Sharia and its directives such as namaz and roza. Chief among these were Chisti, uh, Swarwardi, Firdwasi, Qurayshi, and um, Nakabani Silsilah. The B Sharda silsila were not bound by the Sharia. The Qalandar belong to this group. The Sisti Silsila. The Sisti order was founded in the village called Khewaja Sisti near here in India. The Sisti Silsila was founded by Khwaja Munuddin Chisti, born 1142, who came to India around 1192. He made Ajmer the main center for his teaching. He believed that serving mankind was the best form of devotion, and therefore he worked amongst the uh, downtrodden. He died in Ajmer in 1236 during Mughal times. Ajmer became a leading pilgrim center because the emperor regularly visited the Shikh's tomb. The extent of his popularity can be seen by the fact that even today millions of Muslims that Hindu visit his dargah for fulfillment of their wishes. Among his disciples was Hamuddin of Nagaur and Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. The former lived the life of poor peasant, cultivated land, and refused illuminatize of a grant of village. The Khanqah of Kutubuddin Bakhtiar Kaki was also visited by people from all walks of time. Sultan Itumuddin uh, dedicated the Qutub Minar to this son Sheikh Faruddin of Ajodhan Pathan in Pakistan popularized the Christian Silsilan in modern Haryana and Punjab. He opened the door of love and generosity to all. Baba Farid, as he was called, was respected by both Hindus and Muslims. His verses, written in Punjabi, are quoted in the Adi Granth. Baba Farid's most famous discipline, Sheikh Nijamuddin Aulia, 1238 to 1325, was responsible for making Delhi an important center of the Shishtin Silsila. He came to Delhi in 1259, and during his 60 years in Delhi, he saw the reign of seven sultan. He preferred to shun the company of rulers and nobles and kept aloof from the state. For his renunciation, main distribution of food and clothes to the poor. Amongst his followers was the noted writer Amir Khushro. Another famous Christian Christi Sant was Sheikh Nijamuddin Muhammad, popularly known as Nishuddin Chirag-e-Dili, the lap of Delhi following his death in 1356, and the lack of spiritual cessation, the discipline of the Christian Silsila moved out towards towards eastern and southern India. The Shwarvardi Silsila. The Silsila was founded by Sheikh Sihabuddin um, Sawarwardi. It was established in India by Sheikh Bahauddin Zakaria 1182 to 1262. He set up a leading Khanqah in Multan, which was visited by rulers. High government of officials and rich merchants. Sikh Bahauddin Zakaria openly took Illuminist side in his struggle against Qawacha and received from him the title Saiful Islam, leader of Islam. It must be noted that unlike the uh, Christians, the Saharwardi maintained close contact with the state. They accepted gift, jagirs, and even government posts in the ecclesiastic department. The Saharwardi silsila was firmly established in Punjab and Sindh. Beside these two silsilah, there were ordered such as the Faruddin silsilah, Shatirti silsilah, Qadri silsilah, Naqshbandi silsilah. The importance of the Sufi movements. The Sufi movement made a valuable contribution to Indian society, like the Bhakti sons who were engaged in breaking down the various barriers within Hindus. The Sufis too influenced a new liberal outlook within Islam. The interaction between early Bhakti and Sufi idea laid new the foundation for more liberal movements of the 15th century. You will read that Sant Kabir and Guru Nanak had preached a non-secretion religion based on universal love. Universal love. The Sufis believed in the concept Waqtul ul Waqt and Wajud, unity of being, which was promoted by Ibn Arabi 1165 to 1240. He opened that all beings are essentially one. Different religions were identical. This doctrine gained popularity in India. There was also much exchange ideas between the Sufis and Indian yogis. In fact, Hatha Yoga treatise Amrita Kunda was translated into Arabic and Persian. The Sufi movements encouraged equality and brotherhood. It, in fact, the Islamic emphasis upon equality was respected for more by Sufism than by ulema. The doctrine of the Sufism were attacked by orthodoxy. The Sufism also denounced the ulema. They believed that the ulema had succumbed to word by temptation and were moving away from original democratic and egalitarian principle of the Quran. The battle between the orthodox and liberal element continued throughout the 16th, 17th, and 19th century. The Sufi sons tried to bring about social reform too. Like the Bhakti sons and the Sufi sons contributed greatly to the growth of a rich regional literature. Most of the Sufi sons were poets who choose to write in local language. Baba Farid recommended the use of Punjabi for religion writing. Sheikh Muhammaduddin before him wrote Hinduvai. His verses are the best example of early Hinduvai translation of Persian mystical poetry. Shayad Gisu Daraz was the first writer of Deshani Hindi. He found Hindi more expressive than Persian. To explain my stream, a number of Sufis' work were also written in Bengali. The most notable writer of the period was Amir Khusro, 1250 to 1325. The followers of Nijamuddin Aulia Khusro took pride in being an Indian and looked at the history and culture of Hindustan as a part of own tradition. He wrote verses in Hindi, Hinduvai was and embroidered the Persian metric in Hindi. He created a new style and called Shabak Hindi by the 15th century Hindi had begun to assume a definite shape, and Bhakti sons such as Kabir used it extensively. The Bhakti movements. The development of Bhakti movements took place in Tamil Nadu between the 7th and 12th century. It was reflected in the emotion poem of uh, Na, Na, Nayanar's devotees of Shiva and Alvar's devotees of Vishnu. These sons looked upon religion not as a cold form of worship but a loving bond based upon love between the worship and worshipper. They wrote in local language Tamil and Telugu and were therefore able to reach out to many people. In course of time, the idea of the south moved up up to north, but it was a very but it was a very slow process. Sanskrit, which was still the vehicles of thought, was given a new form. Thus, we find the Bhagavata Purana of 9th century was not written in the old Puranic form, centered around Krishna, childhood, and youth. This work used Krishna exploits to explain deep philosophy in simple terms. This work become this work became a turning point in the history of Vaishnavi movement, which was an important component of Bhakti movement. A more effective method for spreading of the Bhakti ideology was the use of local languages. The sons uh, composed their verses in local languages. They also translated Sanskrit works to make them understandable to a wider audience. Thus, we find Janana Deva writing in Marathi, Kabir, Shurdas, and Tulsidas in Hindi, Shankara Deva popularly Ashami, Chaitanya, and uh, Chandidas spreading their masses in Bengali, Mirabai in Hindi, and Rajasthani. In addition, devotional poetry was composed in Kashmiri, Telugu, Kannada, Oriya, Malayalam, Maithili, and Gujarati. Religion and philosophy in medieval India. The Bhakti sons believed that salvation can be achieved by all. They made no distinction of caste, creed, or religion before God. They themselves came from a conversation Brahman family. His discipline Kabir was weaver. Guru Nanak was a village accountant's son. Namdev was a tailor. Taylor, the sons stressed equality, disregarded the caste system, and attacked institutionalized religion. The Sant didn't confine themselves to purely religion idea. They advocated social reform too. They opposed sati and female infanticide. Women were encouraged to join joined Kirtans. Mirabai and Lala of Kashmir composed verses that are popular even today. Among the non-secretion Bhakti sons, the most outstanding contribution was made by Kabir and Guru Nanak. Their ideas were drawn from both Hindu and Islamic tradition and were aimed at bridging the gulf between the Hindus and Muslims. Let us read in some details about them. Kabir 1440 to 1518 is said to have been the son of a Brahman widow who abandoned him. He was brought up in houses of Muslim weaver. Kabir believed that he way to God was through personally experienced bhakti or devotion. He believed that the Creator in one, his God was called by many names: Rama, Hari, Govinda, Allah, Rahim, Khuda, etc. No wonder that the Muslim claim him as Sufi. The Hindus call him Rama Bhakta, and the Sikh incorporate his song in the Adi Granth. The external aspect of religion were meaningless of Kabir. His belief and idea were reflected in the Dohas Shakhi composed by him. One of the Dohas conveyed that if by worshipping a stone idol one could attain God, then he was willing to worship a mountain. It was a better worship stone floor grander because that could at least fill stomach. Kabir embraced simplicity in religion and said that bhakti was the easiest way to attain God. He refused to accept any prevalent religion belief that without reasoning. For him, could not achieve success without hard work. He advocated perform of action rather than renunciation of duty. Kabir believed in the unity of God, led both Hindus and Muslims to become his disciples. Uh, disci- disciples and Kabir ideas were not restricted to religion. He attempted to change the narrow thinking of society. His poetry was forceful and direct. It was easily understood, and too much of it has passed into our everyday language. Another great exponent of the Nanakana school was Guru Nanak 1469 to 1539. He was born at Tanwandi, uh, Nakana Sahib. From an early age. He showed learning towards spiritual life. He was helped to the poor and needy. His discipline called themselves Sikh derived from Sanskrit Shishya's discipline of Pali Sikha instruction. Guru Nanak personally combined in itself simplicity and peacefulness. Guru Nanak's objective was to remove the existence corruption and regarding practices in society. He showed a new path of the establishment of an ega- egalitarian social order. Like Kabir, Guru Nanak was an as much social reformer. He was a religion teacher. He called for an improvement in the status of women. He said that women gave who give birth to king should not be spoken ill of. His Vani word along with those of other Sikh Guru have been brought together in the Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book of the Sikh. The Vaishnavite movement. You have read sons such as Kabir, Namdev, and Guru Nanak had preached devotion towards Nirakar from of God. During this period, another movement based upon devotion towards a succor from a God and had also developed. This movement called the Vaishnavite movement centralized around the worship of Rama and Krishna, who were seen incarnations avatars of Lord Vishnu. Its main exponents were Surdas, Mirabai, Tulsidas, and Chaitanya. Their path to salvation was expressed through the medium of poetry, song, dance, and kirtans. Surdas 1483 to 1563 was a discipline of famous teacher uh, Vala, Vallabhacharya. He was a blind poet whose songs are centered around Krishna. His Sur Sagar recounts the exploit of Krishna during his childhood and youth with gentle affection and delightfulness. The poet for Krishna was also expressed through the songs of Mira by 1503 to 73, windowed At an early age, she believed in a spiritual marriage with her Lord. Her poem have a quality of their own and are popular even today. The Vaishnavite movement spread in the East through the efforts of Chaitanya 1484 to 1533. Chaitanya considered Krishna not as a mere incarnation of Vishnu but as the highest form of God. The devotion of Krishna was expressed through uh, Sankirtan Hymn session by devotees which took place in homes, temple, and even street processions like the other bhakti sons. Chaitanya too was willing to welcome everyone in irrespective of caste into the fold. The son thus promote a sense of equality amongst the people. The worship of Rama was popularized by sons like Ramananda 1400 to 1470. He considered Rama the supreme god. Women and outcasts were welcomed. The most famous of the Rama Bhakt was Tulsidas 1532-1623, who wrote the Ramcharitmanas. The Vaishnavite sons developed their philosophy within the broad framework of Hinduism. They called the reform of religion and love amongst uh, fellow beings. Their philosophy was broadly humanist. The importance of the Bhakti and Sufi movements. You will recall that Bhakti movements was a social religion movement that opposed religion bigotry and social rigidities. It embellished good character and pure thinking. At a time when society had become stagnant, the Bhakti sons infused new life and strength. They awakened a new sense of confidence and attempted to redefine social and religious values. Sons like Kabir and Nanak stressed upon the recording of society along egalitarian line. Their call to social equality attracted many are downtrodden. Although Kabir and Nanak had no intention of founding new religion, but uh, founding um, but following their deaths, their supporters grouped together as a Kabir paths and Sikh respectively. The importance of the Bhakti and Sufi sons lies in the new atmosphere created by them, which continued affected the social, religion, and political life of India even latter century. Akbar's liberal ideas were a product of the atmosphere in which was born and brought up. The preaching of Guru Nanak were passed down from generation to generation. This resulted in the growth of separate religion upon with its separate language and script. Gurmukhi and religion book Guru Granth Sahib under Maharaj Ranjit Singh, the Sikh grew into formidable political force in the politics of North India. The interaction between the Bhakti and Sufi sons had an impact upon Indian society. The Sufi theory of Bahadat al-Fuzat, unity of being, was remarkably similar to that in the Hindu Upanishad. Many Sufi poet sons prefer to use Hindi terms rather than Persian verses to explain concept. Thus, we find Sufi poets such as Malik Muhammad Jain composing work in Hindi. The use of items such as Krishna, Radha, Gopi, Jamuna, Ganga, etc. become so common in which literature that an eminent Sufi Mr. Abdul Wahid wrote a treatise, a Hakeed, Hindi to explain their Islamic equivalent. In later years, this interaction continued as Akbar and Jahangir followed a liberal religion policy. The popular words and Mr. Abdul Fai brought a treatise Hakir Hindi to explain their Islamic equivalent in later year. This interaction continues as Akbar and Jahangir followed a liberal religion policy. The popular verses and songs of the Bhakti sons also served as formulas of a musical renaissance. New musician compositions were written for the purpose of group singing at Kirtan. Even today, Meera bhajans and Tulsidas uh, chopais are recited prayers meeting. Philosophy in medieval India. The major religion movements were brought about by mystic. Their contribution, the religion ideas and beliefs. Bhakti sons like uh, Bala Vallabhacharya Ramanujan Nimbraka brought about new philosophy thinking which had its origin Shankaracharya Advaita non-dualism philosophy. Uh, Vihistanvita of Ramanacharya. Visitavita means modify monism. The ultimate reality, according to this philosophy, is Brahman God, and the matter and soul are his qualities. Uh, Shivadivita of Sri Kantacharya. According to this philosophy, the ultimate Brahman is Shiva, endowed with Shakti. Shiva exists in the world as well as beyond it. Davita of Madhyacharya. The literature meaning of Davita is dualism, which stand in opposite of non-dualism and monism of Shankaracharya. He believed that the world is not illusion, Maya, but a reality of full uh, differences. Devitacharya of Nimbharka. Devitacharya means dualistic monism. According to this philosophy, God transferred himself into word and soul. This word and soul are different from God Brahman. They could survive with the support of God, only they are separate but dependent. Uh, Saudi Vadita of Vallabhacharya. So Vallabhacharya wrote commentaries on Vedanta, Sutra, and Bhagavad Gita. For him, Brahman God was Sri Krishna, was who manifested himself as soul and matter. God and God, God and soul are not distinct, but one the stress was as pure non-dualism. His philosophy came to be known as uh, Pushimita, the path of grass, and the school was called Rudram Priyaga. What you have learned. The Bhakti and Sufi movements were liberal movement within Hinduism and Islam uh, emphasizing a new and more personalized relation between the human being and God. The message of the Sufi movements was universal love and brotherhood of man. Because of their belief in the concept of unity of being, Sufis were able to establish an ideological relationship with Hindu thought. The Bhakti movements grew among Nayanars and Alvars of the south and strength a new method of worship uh, of God based devotion love. The Bhakti sons were divided into Nirgun and Shagun beliefs. Unlike the Nirgun believers, the Sagun beliefs saw God as having definite different from such as Rama or Krishna. The Bhakti and Sufi sons made valuable contribution to medieval India society in terms of laying a liberal foundation and promoting a tremendous growth of regional literature and local languages.